Welcome, friends. Welcome back to the kitchen. So, in the inner workings of my brain, um, there's a part of my brain that hears about recipes and immediately discounts and ignores them. There's something about the title, often that what it's called, that just sort of my brain shuts down and I ignore it. The recipe we're going to do today, the sort of recipe that we're going to do today, is kind of that recipe. So, a while back, all the rage on the internet, Cowboy Candy. My brain shut down. Didn't even want to know about it, didn't even look up what it was, totally ignored it. But a month ago, I'm somewhere. Don't know where I was. But there was a big bowl of pickled jalapeños on the side. And I was like, wow, I love pickled jalapeños. So I pile a bunch on my plate, go and sit down, and I start eating. 8 jalapeños, just sort of sliced into rounds. Seeds and the ribs and everything are intact. Into the glass jug they go. And this is a sliced red onion. I'm going to put that in there too. Sliced red onion, not part of the OG recipe, but my kitchen. I can do whatever I want. Anyway, so I get back, I start eating my food, and I have a pickled jalapeno, except it's not pickled. My brain goes into overdrive immediately. This is a bread and butter pickle. But instead of using cucumbers, they've used jalapenos. Brilliant. I go over to the front and I ask, what's this called? Cowboy Candy. So I go down a rabbit hole to learn about Cowboy Candy. And there's a bunch of recipes, but the OG Cowboy Candy people don't tell you what the recipe is. It's secret. But it is pretty much just a sweet pickle. A slightly sweeter bread and butter pickle made with jalapenos. I'm going to put onions in because I love onions. I'm going to make this the same way that I make my bread and butter pickles every fall, summer, fall. And so we're going to start out in a jug with the sliced onions and the sliced jalapenos. And I've got 2 big spoonfuls of salt, and I'm going to generously salt. Kind of shake that around. Make sure the salt gets everywhere, or everywhere-ish. And so this is how we treat the cucumbers and onions that we put in our bread and butter pickles. Salt them, and traditionally I would do this in a giant crock, earthenware crock, that sits in our kitchen inside. Put in all of the sliced cucumbers and onions, salt them, put a heavy plate on top with a jug of vinegar to press it down. And over the course of 4 or 5 days, just keep pouring off the water, drawing as much liquid out of the vegetables as you possibly can. I'm just going to salt these and leave them overnight. And I'm going to stick them in the fridge because I'm out of space. So we'll see you back here tomorrow. Okay, about 24 hours have gone by. And by about, I mean probably 18 hours have gone by. And these have broken down quite a bit. There's quite a bit of liquid in here. So the first thing I'm going to do is pour these out and drain off the liquid. There we go. Oh, one got away. There's always one. Okay, so we'll just set that aside. The time in the fridge, not a huge deal. You just want to get most of the water out, and that sort of crisps them up a little bit. A lot of the recipes that I saw for this preparation didn't do that step. So I did it because that's the way we do our other pickles. Whether it's necessary or not, who knows? We're going to find out in the taste test. Next up, we're going to make the brine. Although it's not a brine because there's no salt in it. It's sugar and vinegar. So first in, I've got just regular old white sugar. You could do a mix of white and brown if you wanted to. A little bit of molasses in there would probably work really well. Next up, by volume, an equal amount of vinegar. And I've got just regular old jug apple cider vinegar here. Pour that in with the sugar. And I've got this on kind of a medium heat. We want to bring this up to a boil. Now, in this mortar and pestle, mustard seeds, coriander, fennel, and cumin. And I'm not trying to grind them. I just want to crush them a little bit, break some of them open. And so I used apple cider vinegar. This is a fridge pickle, a quick pickle. It's not a long-term storage. The preparation I'm doing here today is not a long-term storage pickle. You could do it as a long-term storage pickle if you wanted to, slightly modify the recipe. The acid content of the vinegar that you use would be much more important because you want to have enough acid. There's quite a bit of sugar going on here, so sugar is also preservative. Well, you know that from jams and jellies. The sugar and the acid working together, this will keep for a long time, but I want you to keep it in the fridge. Where was I going with that? So you could use, because this is a fridge pickle, you could use any flavorful vinegar that you like. Balsamic might be a little bit too much, but I could see how maybe a little bit of balsamic would add something to this preparation. Now, at this point, I just want to bring this up to a simmer, the vinegar and the sugar. That's to help the sugar dissolve into the vinegar, because right now it is not dissolving into the vinegar. You're going to have to get it up to pretty much a boil and boil it for 2 or 3 minutes to make that happen. All right, so here we go. We're almost at a boil. There's a couple of stray pieces of onion in there. Everything's going to be fine. In goes our spice mixture. And we'll just stir this in and boil it for 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, the sugar is fully dissolved at this point. So now, in go the onions and the jalapeños. And I'm going to say we got probably a cup of liquid, a cup of water out of those vegetables. So what I want to do is tamp that down, get them as far under the liquid as possible. Bring this back up to a boil and let it boil for another 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. That looks great. Smells fantastic. Just don't stick your nose right into it. Now, I've got a couple of glass jars. I've got 2 500 ml jars. Kind of winging it. Not exactly sure how many I need, but I think I can fit it mostly into one 500 ml jar. And thank you, Sally Safety. Yes, these are clean jars. No, never fails to surprise me whenever I do one of these quick pickles. The number of people who down in the comments section chastise me for not reminding you to use clean jars, as if they picture me running down my neighborhood street, going through everybody's blue box, just pulling out dirty jars and bringing them into the studio. Yes, they're clean jars. They don't have to be sterilized, though. I guess where I'm going is they don't have to be sterilized. This is a fridge pickle. You don't have to worry about sterilizing your jars. Let's get a spoon, and you want to pack them down. Make sure they're packed in there tight. Okay, one 500 ml jar seems to do the trick. And here's the deal with a recipe like this. You come across a recipe, you come across a bunch of recipes, and they say use 6 jalapeno peppers. How big is a jalapeno pepper, right? I mean, it's such that's just the way we do things in North America. For everybody out there who wants to know weights, and I didn't bother weighing them, I grabbed 8 jalapenos. And they fit into one jar. And I think that's partially because I did salt them ahead of time, and we drove off a lot of water out of the veg so that it packs down really nicely. Next thing I want to do is boil what's left in this pan another 4 or 5 minutes. You want to reduce it into almost a thick syrup. Not thick syrup, but a thickening syrup. A nice sugary acid-filled syrup. Okay, I'm going to say that's pretty good. So, put our funnel back in, and we'll pour in our syrup pickling liquid. Okay, maybe just a little bit more. This is one of those situations where you do want to have more pickling liquid, or you want to have some left over. You definitely want to have some left over, because you don't want to reach this point and find out you don't have enough. That is almost a disaster. Don't want that to happen. So I've got, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 cup of liquid left, which I think puts us in a good space. So there are no air bubbles. It's packed really tightly. This now gets a plastic lid because it's going in the fridge. I'll leave it out on the counter for a couple of hours till it comes to room temperature, and then I'll stick it in the fridge to cool down. Julie gets home from work tonight, and we'll taste them with dinner. Hey, Jules.
Hey, Glen. Hey, friends.
Get another fork.
You're feeding me peppers? I'm a little concerned.
Cowboy Candy.
Are they? Okay. They look like pickles.
Yep.
Pickles?
Oh. First thing in your brain.
No. Glen's gonna love it.
Yes, I do. I do. I absolutely love that. It's essentially a bread and butter pickle made with jalapeno peppers instead of cucumbers.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of cumin in there that adds.
The cumin is what adds the perception of sweetness to it.
Yeah.
Here I am going to dig another one out because I want to think about it a little bit. But
so this is the syrup that was left over that I didn't use, that I didn't need.
that'll be good in things.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
That. So the first thing that sprung to mind is I need to make a tequila cocktail with that as the instead of simple syrup, put that in and bring that heat and then garnish it with
Okay. Best of luck with that. That may not be my favorite, but we'll see. I can see you eating it with like a sandwich.
Yeah.
I can see it with certain things for me, but it's not, you like the pickled peppers too.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I
the
do.
pickled
So
bananas, I'm not.
For me, that's a winner. I'll get to eat them all.
I have so many.
I'm kind of sad that I resisted making them for so long because I thought it was such a stupid name for some reason.
Wow, book cover.
I know.
My goodness, eh?
That's
Lesson learned.
so. They're really good. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.
What should they be called?
Apparently, so here's the
Oh, sorry.
here's the thing. It's called Cowboy Candy, and so as I started to do research on the background of it, there really is one ranch in Texas that claims to be the originator of making these. But within their own website, they claim that it was invented in 1922 or 1922. Let's just say the 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
And in another part of their website, they claim that they invented it in 1850. So, which is it? And so, like anything else, I kind of look at the story and I go, "Oh, that's a really nice story."
It's a really nice story.
But there's probably no truth to it. It's a myth. People love mythology. Anyway, Cowboy Candy, really good. You should try it. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.